Now, let's go into the symptoms of physical blocked throat chakra, emotional symptoms, and also spiritual symptoms. So you can either feel some of these or you can feel all of these or whatever, right? So, but I just want to let you know so you can see if you have any of these. So the physical symptoms are just actually having throat and neck issues. Like, sorry guys, I just have hay fever. It's allergy season. Um, like chronic sore throat or laryngitis, or you might have neck pain, you might have neck injury, stiffness, frequent colds, infections in the throat area, hoarseness, loss of voice, sore throats, and anything to do with mouth, dental, thyroid, ears, respiration system. And this can be happening, it could be momentarily happening, which is like your physical being saying, hey, take note, or it could be chronic, or it could be frequent, it could be reoccurring, right? Of course, we all get a cold from time to time, but it depends on the frequency, it depends on the severity, it depends on the sensations going on. So they're physical. The emotional symptoms of a blocked throat chakra is fear of speaking. So intense fear or anxiety about speaking in public or even small groups, or even in times where you are with someone you deeply love and who deeply loves you, whether that be friends, family, or partner, you still have hesitation or reluctance to truly share your opinions or thoughts or truly say what you want to say with love, right? The other thing is feeling unheard. You have that perception that, when you do speak, others don't listen or value what you have to say anyway. So what's the point? You could feel isolated, you could feel misunderstood, you can feel like, why are my words not reaching that person? Another thing is emotional suppression. So actually difficulty like expressing emotions clearly or appropriately. You might be the best writer. You might think afterwards, you might think, oh, I should have said this, I should have said that, I could have said this. You might be a good communicator, but there's still difficulty expressing the emotions clearly or appropriately. It could be going the other way. It could be so heightened that you just come out with stuff that you don't mean, like an emotional outburst or a breakdown. And you might have a tendency to have both. You might bottle up those feelings, bottle them up, bottle them like that, and then all of a sudden it's like bang, like your throat chakra cannot hold that anymore. Another one is self-expression issues. So you just struggle to find the right words to truly express your thoughts and emotions, especially if you might have amazing ideas and opinions and like teachings, but you just don't know. It just doesn't come out in the right way, right? And it's like creative blocks or inability to express yourself. Maybe you're an artist, maybe you're a writer, maybe you want to do other creative pursuits, because throat chakra is highly creative because it's expression, it's your truth. You also might be struggling from like low self-esteem. So you might, all this stuff with communication could just be bogging you down and being like, why do I just feel inadequate to communicate? I don't have that confidence, for the communication skills. And you actually start then doubting if you even should speak in conversations. You might just have loads of thoughts, but you might just stay quiet. And this can lead to you being overly critical. You can have like a harsh self-criticism, the inner dialogue, the inner critic, and like you're very hard on yourself. The inner critic is also linked to the throat chakra, right? And because you're so hard on yourself, you now become hard on others. You can maybe be critical of others, and that leads to strained relationships. Strained, right? Not strange. um the other one is like maybe tendency to withhold the truth because you don't want judgment. It's like the ancient persecution wound cannot handle the judgment. So you tend to maybe not say the full truth. And all this is hurting your throat chakra, by the way. The more you do these things, the more it's creating like that suppression or that sensation. You might struggle with knowing who you actually are, and then you might just merge with the people you're with. You might merge with the group and you might just be overly agreeable, right? Or you might be opposite, you might be overly confrontational. We want to be balanced. Now, the other thing is indecisiveness. And I know that sounds a bit strange, like connected to the throat chakra, but all this lack of clarity can just feel like, which way am I supposed to go in my personal life, in my relationships? Because the thing is, if you just take relationships, for instance, right? This lack of being able to communicate and the suppression and the frustration it causes can seem so heightened that you don't even see your relationship clearly. You might actually be second guessing, like, am I in the right relationship? But then you get into another relationship and you have a different, like, you have the same feelings, or the other person is mirroring back to you who you were. So, that can be the impact when it's just stuff going on in your throat chakra, and it's not like, it doesn't mean that you're in the wrong relationship. Do you know what I mean? And also with this professional development, you might think, well, this profession isn't for me. Like, I deeply want to be a coach, but I can't speak, so maybe it's not for me. But all that's going on is your throat chakra is blocked. Same thing with like getting promotions and things. You might think, oh, I'm not progressing, it's not for me. It could just be throat chakra. So things can seem magnified when we isolate the problem, we can see that it's actually just one thing. So what are the spiritual symptoms of a blocked throat chakra? Now, this is when you're disconnected from your inner truth. You feel out of touch with your inner guidance and your intuition. Of course, third eye and crown is to do with your inner guidance and intuition, but acting it out into the physical world, expressing that, is your throat chakra. And you might have difficulty just like understanding what your personal truth even is. What is your higher self even saying? Because there might be so much going on that you can't even access your truth anymore. You might struggle to find your life's purpose or your spiritual path, feeling lost or aimless with a lack of direction, because it's the more and more you go against your truth, the more lost and in limbo you feel. If you're creative, you could feel that blocked creativity. You could feel like, why can't I get my creativity out? Like, I know I'm talented. And this even comes to like writing a book as well, or something like that, because it's all throat. It's all like anything you're bringing out into the world is throat. Spiritual misalignment, feeling disconnected with high states of consciousness or spiritual experiences. Now, this is another one. If you are here to share spiritual messages and like be truly out there with your spirituality, or maybe even incorporate spirituality, you might have difficulty expressing those beliefs and practices authentically, right? You might have fear of sharing your spiritual insights and experiences with others. Now, in this container, you can say anything, really, because I am fully integrated with sharing my spiritual truth. Yes, it took a while to get there. I wasn't always like this, but that's something fully integrated within me. So in this community, you can, but you also have to see what communities you're in. And sometimes in places like corporate environments, you might think you can't share it, but actually you might be the person there that once you start sharing, there will be other people mirroring back to you like, oh my God, I've always felt the same way. And I have heard this story many times, because someone has to be kind of a way shower, right? And it can be done on a massive scale, like when you're in front of loads of people, or it can be done on a minimal scale. It's all still important. It's still important. Minimal scale meaning family, or to your partner, or to your co-workers, or to your friends. The other one is lack of trust in divine communication. Again, when the messages actually do come through, you're like doubting, like, is it me? Is it my imagination? Again, people think that's your third eye. It is your third eye, but it's also your throat. And yes, fear of judgment and persecution for spiritual beliefs. So we've covered that one.